Call the meeting of the Airport Authority to order. Item number 1, approve the minutes of a regular meeting from April 9th. Any additions or corrections to the published meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. And
Second. I wasn't here though, so I didn't think I would be able
no. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, airport vouchers, number 2, totaling $45,959.87. Any questions on those? Entertain a motion to approve those.
So
vouchers.
moved.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the individual vouchers, item number 3, A through D. Anybody want to separate those out? Otherwise, would entertain a motion for all 4 of those.
So moved.
Have a motion. Motion second. Roll call.
Lynn?
Aye.
Megan? Lynn?
Aye.
Aye.
Mark? Comment.
Aye. All right, number 4, receive the proposed contract from Mead and Hunt, designed for the cargo apron.
It should be in your packet. And this contract is for everything that's in blue on the map here on the proposed UPS sites, including the ramp lights. There is some water and sewer that will be extended, the trunk lines along the avenue on the north side or the access road, security fencing, access gates, and so forth. And Mead and Hunt has proposed a contract for a lump sum of $836,000 to do that. They have started some of the work. Your approval today is subject to the review of an independent fee review that's being done right now by Wes Schoen. He's a former engineer here in Fargo that lives out in Montana. He does our independent fee reviews. That's in accordance with the FAA policy, and once his review comes back to make sure that the proposed amount is in accordance with his review, we'll sign the contract and move forward.
Was this a competitive bid? But they were the only one who responded?
No, we did that about a year ago. So Mead and Hunt is retained now for
Oh,
a
that's
maximum
right.
of 5 years.
That's right.
And then we do every project on a contract over that
Yep.
5-year period. So they were the only firm to respond to our
Now I-
request,
Yep, I remember now.
and they were selected.
Okay. It was very thorough.
Oh, it is, yeah. And the FAA did
Extremely thorough.
review the scope of work. Stacy's reviewed the general terms and conditions that's attached as well to make sure that's in accordance with policy and everything is in order.
Need a motion on acceptance of this contract. Anyone?
I'd move to accept it.
Okay, have a motion and a second.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Can I ask a quick question? So can you just kind of go through, and I should have asked this during the, go through the timeline now from this point forward?
Okay. Jeff, you want to help out with the timeline that we're looking at once we get...
Yeah, so I'll even back up from there. This whole process started fall of 2018. So when you do an FAA project, you have to go through a process, what's called a pre-application, basically just to tell the FAA what your intentions are for use of your funds in 2019. And then we started the environmental process because that takes so long to do, and we knew that we didn't want the environmental process to hold up the overall project, so we just initiated that to keep it going. Then we scoped everything out and put our feet together and kind of sat on it because we didn't know exactly what UPS was going to want for a layout. And then they made some final changes and we revised our fee and scope. So now moving forward, once we're continuing to work on it now, but once the IFT comes through, the contract will get approved. And then we have to submit what's called an engineer's design report to the FAA, basically detailing out our whole design, how we came up with our pavements, our utility layouts, our glycol collection, our storm sewer analysis, all documenting that we meet all FAA criteria, all that kind of stuff. We send it in to them for review. They need to approve it. And then come, I would say mid-June, we'll send in the plans to the FAA for review. And they have to approve those. And then the whole goal is to advertise towards the end of July, have bids opened on the 13th of August.
Okay,
So,
good. Thank you.
and Sean and myself and Darren met with the FAA just last week, and we still don't know if we're getting any supplemental funding, so. They told us December, they told us February,
Yeah,
they told
they keep
us
telling you.
April, we're getting into May, so.
This hangar, this aircraft hangar that's right there,
Yep,
is that, is that for are we building that, or is that somebody else that is going to?
that's a private development, that's Bemidji Air, and that, the size of that is to be determined, from
Okay.
what I understand. So it was just put on as that size in that location as a conceptual idea. So
Okay.
I don't know if you have anything more to add to that, Sean. I know you
Yeah, I
said they
know
may
that-
shrink it down to 3 or 4
Yeah,
aircraft.
I mean, this is a good picture. Here's the cargo apron where FedEx is operating now. So if you can envision this size ramp here, all of the black dirt, all the way over to the drain is gonna be concrete. That's all gonna be concrete when this project is done. There'll be a large sort facility here, a possible hangar over here. This access road's going to be extended, and this road will be extended down towards the ramp in some location in this general area. But that'll all be concrete, so it's gonna be a big project.
Great.
Our goal is to have it done by summer of 2020, and then the goal is to have UPS in there by Thanksgiving of 2020 or spring of 2021. That's the goal.
One thing I'll add too is, given that the concrete is going essentially as far west to the drain as possible, one of the things that we have to do is take a look at the stability of the slope on drain 10, because historically the drain slopes have a tendency to slough in. I think it happened up at Border States one time. It happened off the end of 927 during a project. So the last thing we want to have happen is for UPS have a plane in the bottom of drain 10. So we have to take a look at that, just, and if there isn't enough safety factor in it, then we have to do something to shore up the bank. So I don't anticipate it to be a problem, but we have to look at it. Yes, sir.
Is the environmental survey complete?
It isn't. I would call it 90% complete. It's not officially finalized and approved, but it's almost there.
Okay.
So
That would, if we have to do some stabilizing to drain 10, that would substantially increase the cost, would it not?
correct. Yep. So and and there may be things where if UPS, again, I don't anticipate it to be a problem, but I don't know that for sure. We could pull the concrete back from the bank, 50 feet or whatever it would take to reach our safety factor. So we'd have to coordinate that with UPS and make sure that doesn't negatively impact their operations. So you save money for not having to stabilize the bank, and you save money for not having to pay the concrete. So
When was Drain 10 originally installed?
that I don't know.
They'll tell you a little bit about how stable it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's been there, the more stable.
Yeah,
it's gonna
but
be.
keep in mind, it was about 3 years ago, Southeast Cass, all the way from 19th Avenue to County Road 20, increased the slope, remember? So it used to be different, now they widened it, got more easement from us, so I think they've done it quite a bit to improve the
It's
stability.
probably a lot better than.
Yeah, yeah. I forget what the slope ratio is, but it's significantly better than what it was before. So,
How far on the west side of Drain 10 is the Army Guard project and any aprons that they propose to build?
well, they're definitely west of the tree line there.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the trees.
They went as close to the easement as they could, but they're still west of the tree line. There.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Item 5, Big Blue Hangar Association.
The request, Bernie Ness is our contact for the Big Blue Hangar Association. This hangar is the T hangar that's down here on 19th Avenue. Well, the Big Blue is a different color now between VIX and the 19, so they're looking at a 5-year extension to that lease agreement. Hangar seems to be in fairly good shape. It was built in the 70s, but yet it looks fine.
So is it 100% occupied, all the
Yes,
stalls?
yeah. There's a pretty high demand for these when these come for sale. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you do that one, I can show you where the next one is too.
Oh, okay.
So the number 6, you can
Yeah.
approve these all at the same time. Number 6 is Bernie Ness's hangar, Northwest Leasing. It's up here. Used to be known as the Igloo Hangar. There used to be a big igloo here. So that's a 5-year extension for this hangar here, and he's put some money into that, so that looks well. And then the final one is the West Winds Condo Association. That's the large T hangar. That's in this area here. Ron Sager is our contact. They would look for a 5-year extension as well. So all of those are 5-year extensions. They've done a good job of cleaning these out. There's either aircraft that are in the process of becoming airworthy in them. And 3 of them sold. I think Bernie sold at least 3 hangars on the field here over the last few months. So should be in pretty good shape. So it's those 3 hangars there, a 5-year extension. It's a request for items 5, 6, and 7.
I don't know. So moved.
Okay, second.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Call for the question. All those in favor of the 5-year extension for those 3 items signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Hearing none. Motion carries. All right. The AAA&E regarding the UAS, there's quite a little packet of
Yeah, so you see,
information
you had a
there.
letter from EEE. It's their response to the FAA's request for a notice of proposed rulemaking that deals with UAS, or the operations, the safe and secure operations of small unmanned aircraft in and around communities and how to protect airports. They suggested we put it on the public record at our board meetings across the country, and that's bringing it to your attention as they deal with the advent of UAS, the impacts on airports and communities. I know Fargo's done quite a bit of work with identifying maps, and I wish Meg from the tower was here. They get calls almost every day from people that want to launch, a drone or UAS someplace in the city, and there's a map that tells them what altitude that they can fly at. There's a lot of areas in and around the controlled airport here that are 0. They can't operate the UAS, but as you get further away from the airport, it's possible. You have to take into account West Fargo Airport and Moorhead as well. Also, they protect the flight path for Sanford as well, whether it's at the old hospital or the new hospital. So there's a lot of different unique things here in Fargo. How the city will address this through planning and other things in the future remains to be seen, but this is kind of one of the first comprehensive, suggestions that a national group is providing to the FAA on recommendations, if you will, to keep the airspace safe around the airports. So I don't know if you have any questions on that, but I'm sure we're going to be hearing more about that as communities are faced with accommodating this technology.
So who are you going to send this to the city?
We'll send it off to the planning department.
Planning? Okay.
Yep.
I think it would be good for Commissioner Peckham to have it too.
Sure. Yep, he got it in the
He got it
packet.
in his packet,
Yes,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, as we've seen worldwide, there gets to be some real difficulties around airports with
Yeah.
UAS. And I know the military is concerned about UAS attacks on deployed personnel.
When I think the general public has to know this.
Yeah.
And I think it hasn't been real widely publicized or knowledgeable. So when people do call, I mean, that's great, but think of all the ones who don't.
Yeah. It's made some national news. In the second paragraph,
Yep.
they talk about Newark. That's the only U.S. airport that they've talked about that's been shut down.
Okay.
Because someone launched it, somebody go down here to the viewing park and put up a UAS.
Yep.
We're shut down. So, but I thought it'd be good information for the board and the general public just to look at, what are some of the concerns. And granted, this is a notice of proposed rulemaking, so the suggestions could change, but nonetheless, it's the start of the process. So it's just something to receive and file.
Okay. I know that the last air show, we had a UAS flying south, and the Blue Angels came very close to canceling the performance because of it. So it's an issue. Okay, number 9, airport security update, construction.
Construction-wise, we had a pre-construction meeting for Dakota Drive, the actual pavement rehabilitation here this past week, and they plan on starting in May 9th, or when road
6th.
restrictions are off, May
Monday, May
6th?
6th.
Monday, May 6th. So there's a significant amount of work that's being done on the road. Some are total reconstruction, others are just patches of areas as you drive in and out from here to 19th Avenue around the maintenance shop. So that'll start then, and they'll get that underway. The lighting project is almost done except for 2 poles left, Jeff?
Correct. They have some wiring to do today, and then there's 2 light poles over by the fuel farm that Jet Center has that they're just waiting for the ground to dry out so they can drive up next to them.
So all of the light poles that you can see, including the park light, have been changed to LED fixtures. They did that, and it didn't take them very long, so they did a good job with that. So we'll have some pay requests coming for that probably at the next meeting. Other than that, the snow removal equipment ad will be starting to publish the request for qualifications on April 29th, and responses to that are due on the 20th of May. I'm sorry, let's see here. Responses are due at 4 o'clock on May 21st. So the goal would be to select a firm at our meeting on May 28th, an architectural firm for the snow removal equipment building. So the legal ad is done. Here's the draft, and that should get going here. The FAA finally approved it on Friday night, so we got that done. Security-wise, I don't know. Let's see, is Mr. Negron here? Yeah, do you want to talk about anything, the checkpoint or the new procedure, the pilot project?
Yeah, there's a couple of things, 2 things for you. There's a pilot going on that we're participating in right now. It's called blended pre-check. So just the ability to send some other throughput through the pre-check lane during peak hours. It's being fielded at a limited number of airports, and the agency's looking to more broadly deploy that later on this year, perhaps maybe fall timeframe. Seems to be helpful, and so we're part of that pilot where they're collecting data and information on how that works. The other thing for Fargo, which is kind of nice for this category airport, is a known crew member. So known crew member, we're looking to field that here, and so there looks to be a site survey happening it's either the end of the first week or into the second week of May. Sometime some people come and they just take a look at our site and how would we do things if we need some connectivity, or there's some equipment we'll need, so how do we plug in that equipment to our network. Once they do that, shouldn't be too long, we hope. Then we'll do some training, and we will start known crew member program here. So that's nice for the crews. The uniformed crews can come in. It's an expedited process for them. There are a number of crew members that come, particularly in the morning time frame, and then throughout the day as well. But the morning time frame seems to be particularly heavy with crew members here. So that will be a nice add for service to crews coming through Fargo Airport. That's all I have for you. Any questions? He's thinking.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the pre-check. How many, what percentage of the passenger employments would you say are pre-checked now?
We probably running an average around 40%, I think.
40?
Here, about 40% of our population. It's been growing, so it's usually high 30s, mid 40s, so it's average around 40%, seems like.
The TSA is going to conduct another pre-check enrollment, TSA pre-check enrollment here. Was it May 3rd or June 3rd? Starting June 3rd. It'll be either in this room or our West Wing.
Yeah, we send people, people do ask, and so, there is a local enrollment center here, and I believe we have that info, a location and number, and so I know people do ask, so it's kind of nice for here. There was every now and again we think, some people think they have to go to Minneapolis to do that, and you don't have to. You can enroll right here in Fargo. It's just down the road a little bit, not too far away up north here, so.
What, do you know the fee offhand?
$85 for 5 years.
For 5 years.
$85, yeah. So it's at Cross Country Courier just south of the North Dakota Horse Park is the enrollment
Some
center.
people are getting the 5 years,
Right.
or running into people that are
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we put out some social media notices
Good.
occasionally to remind people, if, you know, like myself, mine expires here in a few months, so
Yeah.
start the re-enrollment of your TSA pre-check. So you don't come to the checkpoint and your credentials are expired.
You said it's cross-country?
Cross Country Courier is the name of the building. It's just south of the horse park
Okay.
in West Fargo.
You know, one other thing, I guess, I just thought of it, Real ID. Real ID comes in effect next October, so October 1 of 2020. And I know North Dakota is a Real ID compliant state, so it's just a matter of making sure people are aware of what it is they need to have with them to apply for that Real ID, because that will be the ID that will need to be presented. Driver's license, it will need to be Real ID compliant. That starts October 1, 2020.
Minnesota's still not.
Are passports compliant?
Passports are acceptable, yes. In terms of driver's license.
Okay.
If you have a driver's license, you're presenting that as your photo ID, it has to be a Real ID compliant driver's license, starting October of 2020, October 1.
Is Minnesota still not?
I don't recall offhand if they have sorted that out or not. I believe they had. I think they had sorted that out in
Thinking that
terms
would,
of
that
being
would
compliant.
impact our
Oh, yeah.
passenger employment here with so many in Minnesota.
If I remember right, they're not on the list of the states who are not, which is a much smaller list now, so.
Very happy to hear the known crew members come in. I had asked you about a year ago if we could get that, and you're just like, I don't think we could get it. So,
Right.
to hear this coming is
Yeah.
very good news. Very good
Yeah,
news.
for a long time it was, you're not a big enough airport, not a
Right.
big enough airport now. It's good. So, Mr. Lougheed from Delta Global Services, do you want to give an update on where you're at with TDY and full-time employees?
You're gonna make me stand up anyhow.
Sure, sure.
Creak, creak.
You need the exercise.
We're still continuing to get TDY support. Actually, now finally, this week, they got a Spokane station manager came to help me out because they were having a hard time getting me access to everything. So I think we'll see improvements here relatively fast. The wage picture still continues to be a problem. Believe me, we've had frank talks about that. So, along the lines of you gotta get out more and see what we got here. So, continue to work on all fronts, I guess. Performance is increasing quite a bit now, so I think with the spring weather, everybody's feeling a little more like they should be outside, so we'll continue to soldier on here. I think it's a lot of improvement to be had yet, and I'm still digging out of piles of stuff I found all over the station. So since I got here, so we'll get to it. It's coming right along. So should be better from here on out, and better and better.
Well, we thank you for your
Thank
efforts.
you.
Yeah. And I do notice workers at the counter, there are several, usually in the mornings when I've been.
Well, the staffing continues to be short. We are still hiring people at the wage we advertise, but I think it'd be an easier task if we at least beat McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of who we hold up as, because we say, well, at least McDonald's offers free food now too, so good place, so.
You'll have to
Well,
make an
show them free
arrangement
food
with
now or
tomorrow.
something, I guess, but who knows?
Plus the weather's helped our de-icing issue too.
Yeah, Thursday that was really bad. I fell myself twice on the ramp, all the way down to the ground. So I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So it was no look. The airport was good to get sand that day. Otherwise, I think we would have had to close the ramp just for safety.
So the quarterly newsletter went out. I think everybody got that. Rick, are you on the mailing list for that? If not, we'll get you on the mailing list. That comes Flint. We'll make sure that you're added and get that copy. So that's all I've got. I don't know. Rick, do you have any update on that property south of the airport?
They are looking to sell it, but they're also in the process of trying to figure out what it's gonna take to clean it up. So I actually have a couple of places that are going to give us a bid that I will give to the property owners to have them decide if they want to do it, have, themselves clean it up or have the buyer do it.
This is the property just west of Dakota Drive, north of 19th Avenue, just west of the intersection there, the Mickle property. We've looked at it, but the cost to tear down all the buildings plus the unknown environmental stuff, we had a phase 1 environmental study done, and there's just too much unknown there to even think about moving forward with that. So we'll see where that goes. So Mr. Sweeney, I don't know, do you have any updates? How's everything at Jet Center? We're going to be in Switzerland in a month advertising?
Third week of May we'll be over there, so raising the flag
Yay.
So
Where?
good.
at the European Business Aviation Show. We've done that for a number of years, probably our 8th or 9th year.
Where is it?
Geneva, Switzerland,
Geneva.
right at the airport.
Has that probably been the most popular, most successful one to attract aircraft?
Yeah, it's productive because they see Fargo, and it's grown a lot now. The show was, I bet it's grown twice the size over the past 8 or 9 years. But our goal there is just to connect with European large operators that continue to bring their large aircraft into the United States through Fargo. So it's fun.
Any airshow update?
Air show update, it's marching on, and looks as though it's going to be, I keep thinking, well, last show was so good that we can't possibly get a better one, but I think we're gonna have a better show this time around than last. It's really good. And some, we have some ground acts that fill in while the runway is being occupied by commercial carriers, and we've got some pretty unique ones. I think the kids are gonna have a great time, and parents too. So it'll be a great show.
That's all I've had.
Anything else? Anyone? Okay. Adjourn the meeting.